Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John, and we are here to talk about the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written in the 6th century BC and is filled with all sorts of enigmatic wisdom on how we can live a more reasonable life. Living a reasonable life, as far as I express it, is that we live a life in which we're not asking other things to change for us. It's not for us to dictate how things exist or how things can find their freedom in the world and how they can find their fulfillment in the world. Just like we're not going to be able to have others find fulfillment for us or dictate how we're going to find fulfillment in the world. And due to our lives being free to do what we want to be able to live them so that we're not asking others to do what we want. If we can allow others to be and do what they want and how they want, then they will actually take up more responsibility for themselves. You know, it's interesting when you start treating people as if they're responsible, they start to take on responsibility. It's not easy, but that is what happens. It's just a part of the whole process. Sorry, I had to switch over my internet. I had to take a pause there for a second because I keep forgetting to get on to my my wireless hotspot, because for some reason around this time every day it shifts. My internet just cuts out just briefly. So the Tao Te Ching helps us live a more reasonable life, living a life in which we are accepting of other people being who they are, as they are. You know, yeah, my cat is who she is, as she is, and she wants to come up, and so I'm going to let her. And I could not let her if that was my choice, but I'm going to let her up, and we're gonna spend a little time together during Tao of the Day. So the way this show works is I invite you up to ultimately pick a number between 1 and 81. What I like to do before I ask you to pick a number is just get a baseline, figure out where you are, what's going on in your life. If there's anything that you got going on in your life that you're struggling with, you want new perspective on, and then we can chat from there. So we'll be able to witness that because I'm bringing Max up. Max and I, we've chatted quite a number of times. So I'm super excited to say hi to him. Hey, Max, how you doing?
And John, it's been a while.
Have you been well?
In some ways, yes. In other ways, not quite.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's from the perspective of my team, not from the perspective of me.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm doing well as I can at this moment. But my team is very worried about my health. And I get that. They're totally entitled to feel that way. But I don't know. Some people say I'm minimizing what's going on. I'm in denial of what's going on.
First off, there's nothing more, there's nothing that can make a person more incensed than for somebody who is, and I don't know where you're at. You very well may be minimizing. Okay, whatever.
Right.
But and that's it's good to question that, and it's good for you to question that within yourself. You could ask it. You can ask yourself, am I minimizing? Am I trying to seem like I'm doing better than I'm actually doing, and stuff like that? You know, like that's great internal dialogue. And if you're asking that is, you know, when we talk from the perspective of Tao, not knowing, you don't know that you're sane. Yeah. You feel you're sane, but you don't know that you're sane. And so you question it. Am I sane? Am I minimizing? Am I actually processing this? And all of that. And that is, there is, you know, in Tao, when we talk about Tao, you can pretend to be in doubt, right? And that's and it can look a certain way, but if you're trying to prove something, and the thing is what I'm hearing in your voice is you're like, they're entitled to that. I don't need to prove that I'm not minimizing. They'll have to figure it out on their own, right? And that makes me confident that you're not trying to prove anything.
No, absolutely not. I'm just being. I'm just doing what I'm doing, you know? And I feel confident in that. I feel very confident in that.
And there is, in the field of your team, in their, you know, in their comings and goings, they have certain check boxes.
Yes, they do.
And the thing is when you are Buddha, right? And when you are insane, those things can look very similar. Like the external can look very similar. Just like, you know, there's that one verse. What was that?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, actually. Because, you know, from the medical / psych, you know, field, they're looking at it from a certain point of view. Whereas I'm looking at it from, like, I'm still functioning. I'm still, you know, walking 6 to 10 miles a day. I'm doing my work. I'm being productive. My body obviously is not failing if I'm able to do all these things. Right. And I don't know. I just feel very differently from them. But that's okay. And that's okay.
That's right. It's right. And if you're open to, you know, jumping through the hoops, I mean, you're in the institution that you're in, and so you have to. It would behoove you at least to surrender to that fact rather than, you know, like you don't have to submit and say you're right. You can just say, you can surrender to the fact that yes, and if you are, you know, well balanced and healthy, you would be like, oh no, it is. I can totally understand why you doubt my sanity, and you can put me through the you know you can have me jump through the hoops, the testing that to satisfy yourself, and you know the problem comes in when we get these sort of okay, all of the results say you're sane, but I still don't believe it. You know, and then it's like, well, then that's about them.
Right, exactly.
You know, it's like, well, you have to expand your mind in order to understand what's happening over here. You know, and it's a tough thing. You know, like, like let's
if
pick
I
a number. Go on.
Like, just a quick interject. Like, if I had proof that say. Like, because they're concerned about my heart and the EKG came back a little wonky. Okay, fine. I don't know for sure what they're talking about because they won't explain it to me in a way that I can understand. They're just like, oh, your T4, blah, 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 is off. Blah. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, how? I don't speak doctor. And then they're like, oh, well, your heart, when you don't eat, your heart and everything can shut down. And I'm like, well, show me the proof that it's shutting down. Give me evidence that my body is shutting down. And then maybe we can go from there and I will understand more of where you're coming from. But right now, I'm just going to do me because I feel like I'm okay. But yes, let's pick a number. You know what? Let's do 46. Sorry, I'm a little sniffly today.
Quite all right. 46 is... It's an interesting one. Knowing when to stop.
That's quite funny.
So, you know, like you're talking about you're not eating and you're, you know, like, and maybe they're right. Maybe when you don't eat, your heart is going to stop and you don't, I mean, you wouldn't want to push that.
No, exactly.
However, it appears like if when you stop eating, like are they saying that you need to eat 24 hours a day?
No, they're saying, well, I came up with a plan to kind of, start small and make baby steps. And they totally discounted my whole plan. And they're like, no, you just need to eat. You just need to eat. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work for me. That's not how my eating disorder works. If I push myself too far, I'm just going to retreat backwards and not give a fuck and just stop altogether.
And you at some point have to be okay with the fact that your heart may stop.
Right. Yeah.
And to some degree, that's going to have to be okay.
Right.
Right. So I mean, you have information, and you can take that information, and asking them to prove it is akin to them asking you to prove that you're fine.
Yes, exactly.
You know
Very
what I mean?
True. Very true.
So allowing them to say, hey, I'm not comfortable. You have to eat, and just be like, okay, I understand that. But maybe I don't. And like you are risking your health. You possibly are. You have a doctor telling you that you're risking your health, and you have to be okay. You have to be okay with that to some degree, and understanding that, like, okay, well, I can make these concessions, and asking yourself, are you okay with what you're doing? And do you feel inside? Are you trying to make a point somewhere deep inside? Are you trying to be a contrarian? Are you able to retreat into that more? And looking at all those things. And so we're going to go ahead and look at this knowing when to stop as, just as like, what is it that we have to stop? Maybe stop the identifying as someone with an eating disorder and stop identifying as a contrarian, stop identifying, maybe stop listening to them, whatever that
stopping is.
Right. Yeah. So let's look at the text. When Tao is followed, this is interesting. Shelter, food, and water are prioritized. Going counter to Tao, war, excess, and hoarding are praised. He who believes there isn't enough is cursed to never have enough. He who believes he must acquire will acquire nothing that lasts. There is no greater waste of time or energy than being discontent. Therefore, the master knows what is enough and is content to stop there. So on every front, like,
that speaks to my life right now.
Yeah.
Like the point where it says, I don't remember exactly how the first part goes, but when you're basically, oh my gosh, I'm losing it.
Let me read it again. And you keep this in mind, and you can just say that. When Tao is followed, shelter, food, and water are prioritized. Going to counter to Tao, war, excess, and hoarding are praised. He who believes there isn't enough is cursed to never have enough. He who believes must. Okay. He who believes there isn't enough is cursed to never have enough.
Exactly. So I feel as though my team is not getting enough from me. They feel they're not getting enough from me. I feel as though from their words and from their, their demeanors, they're not receiving enough, perseverance from me. And I feel as though that may be making them, what's the word, the last word at the end of that sentence?
Is cursed to never have enough.
Yeah, they're cursed to never have enough. Like, they're never going to be satisfied with my work if they don't see that I'm putting in effort. Like, I tried to explain this whole entire plan to them, and they're just like, no, you just gotta eat. You just gotta eat. Try this, try that, try this. And I'm like, that's not going to work for me. So,
and I can very much see how their resistance to hear you can create in any contrarian resistance to hear them.
Yes, absolutely. I totally shut down when they were discounting my plan that works for me. Like, they want me to work for their plan, but they won't accept that I have a plan that will work for me. Yeah, and then I totally shut down and said it basically F you, and now I'm just like in the F you.
Right, yeah, and you know, let's not talk about you so much as a victim, but as somebody who is in this situation. And I don't know what your goal is in the institution you find yourself.
So my goal is basically to get out. Well, first of all, but my goal right now regarding my eating disorder, it was triggered by PTSD. So it was triggered by my trauma because there was a lot of stuff going on in the unit that was very triggering to me. And they had to move a patient off the unit because he was being very inappropriate with me, and that triggered all this stuff. And that's what brought it to this point. Now, I don't know how to get out of it, and that's kind of where they're like, just eat, just do it. And I'm like, well, if I just do it, I'm going to take different actions. It's not going to work that way.
Well, that again. There's this whole thing is, I don't. You know me well enough to know that I won't let you really victimize yourself too much.
Oh yeah.
So here, what I'm seeing is that you're having an experience in which the people around you are not hearing you or not listening to you or not taking you seriously. And I would push back on that and say, are you sure that that's what's happening? Or is that sort of a trigger for you? Yeah. And are they actually saying no? And it may sound like they're saying no. Like you may hear the word no. Just eat. You may hear that.
Yeah.
But there may be, because if we go back to your birth even, you having to be you positioned to be you were born second, right? Is that right? Do I have that correct? You're a twin, isn't that right? Oh, wait, sorry. You dropped off and I forget. I can't recall your,
oh yeah,
the story. What was
it? Second, but I was supposed to be first.
You were supposed to be first. So here's the thing, right? When I start looking at how you position the stories you tell me in your life, they always kind of come to this place, and that's where this contrarian, they come to this place of like, you're supposed to listen to me and you're not.
Right.
And I have the answer and you're not listening to me. And it's always fighting this firstborn thing.
Yeah.
And you don't have access to that information, really. You don't have access, but you've created, because through your experiences, you've created a frame of reference. This is how I talk about it, right? So you have a frame of reference of where you're expecting the world isn't going to respect you and your position. So your position, having to be firstborn, you're like, I'm ready to be to be the one who takes over the family. I'm ready to be the one who has the responsibility, and yet you're not given the responsibility. You're not given the responsibility to be firstborn. You're not given the responsibility to control your thing. And you're creating these experiences through the way you reference the world. So when you see any sort of resistance at all,
I see like disrespect, and
you see this
like,
huge, like they don't trust you to be firstborn.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
They
Like
don't trust you with that position.
I do kind of feel like they don't trust me with my own life. Like they don't trust me with my decision making, and me knowing my mind and my body, and like
Now,
sure they have the scientific evidence, but
but you are it's your body.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so now there's a lot that needs to be learned here, right? They're having experiences with you that they need to learn from, but you're having experiences with them that you need to learn from. Yeah. Now, you can continue you can continue this conflict, and they're going to care for you and all of that. But you have to kind of see yourself in all of this. You have to see the perspective that you're bringing to it. And that perspective is constantly, it's always coming down to, you don't think I'm capable of being me. Right? You don't think, and you've put yourself in a position, you're in an institution due to the fact that you are unable, like you've taken it to the extreme, right? You've taken it to the extreme, and you have proven to yourself that not only do people around you think you can't handle yourself, you don't think you can, right? And so there's this frame of reference that you've built your entire life off of. That revolves around this idea that you can't be responsible for yourself. And then when you find yourself in the most extreme position, you try to tell them that you know what you're doing. And so this is the lesson that you have to learn. This is the humility. This is the lesson of humility that you have to learn to be able to move forward, right? To be able to come out of that. Go on.
Oh, I was just saying you cut out for a second. Can you repeat that last bit? No, it's okay.
I don't remember what I was saying, but yes, you're good. You're good. Like
but I totally I really do agree to an extent that maybe I don't even trust myself. Like, cause I have been questioned is like, just keep going, just prove them wrong. You know, because I have their words in my head. Like, your organs are gonna fail, your heart's gonna stop, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I have that in my head, but I also have my brain that's like, okay, just keep going. You're doing fine. You're functioning fine. Like, and
well, you don't know that.
I have like this conflict. This conflict in my head. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I was the staff was at my door. So like I have like this inner conflict, like, what do I do? Like,
well, you are in an institution, and you need to surrender to the fact that you're in this institution, and you have to figure out that, like, where
that balance is of surrender.
Well, you have to, like, you find yourself in an institution. And that institution has certain ways of going about things. Now, if you don't want to be in this institution and you don't want to go along with what they say, you have to figure out either how to get dismissed, but getting dismissed from the institution is going to either be by healing and proving to them that you've healed, or going crazy and going to another institution that will allow you to just be what you know, like whatever.
Yeah.
So you know, when they say just eat, well, I mean, figure out how to
What
either
that
make
means.
that happen or how to you know, like get yourself into a position to make that happen or whatever. I don't know, you know, like
I think that's the part.
you have to take seriously the fact that you are not free.
No, I'm not.
To you, like you're in this institution because you weren't thinking clearly, and you need to, and so you need routine, and you need clarity, and you need structure, and you are reliant on the people that are in this institution. So you have to stop being the contrarian. Right. You have to know when to stop. Like
right.
You
no
like if we take this if we look at this line, he who believes there isn't enough. And so you currently believe there's not enough.
Right.
You're not getting enough faith from let's say you're not getting enough faith in you from the staff. You're cursed to never have enough.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh,
he who believes he must acquire, right? He who believes he must acquire their respect, acquire their trust, acquire their thing, will acquire nothing that lasts. So because you have acquired some of their trust and faith, right? And things were good for a little while. Yeah. But then they crumbled because it didn't last. Why didn't it last? Because you believed you needed to acquire it. Because you believed that you could acquire it. And so he who believes there isn't enough is cursed to never have enough. And that's what keeps happening. And every time you think you have enough, it collapses. And then once again, you don't have enough. There is no greater waste of time or energy than being discontent. Therefore, the master knows what is enough and is content to stop there.
Okay. So it's kind
and
of
that also goes to with your
it out.
Right. Even with when you're eating, okay, I ate, and that's enough. I can do what's enough, and I don't have to have your approval.
Right.
Because I'm not going to try to acquire that.
I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for me.
That's right.
To get out of here.
Right. So that you can make your own decisions. And if you go out and make your own decisions, you stop eating and your organs fail, well, you've been warned. You know what I mean? In whatever capacity. And you've decided to either not mind it because maybe it's not true. Right? Maybe that's just part of their tests and stuff, whatever. That's your but if it then happens, right? You can't you're not going to be a victim to it because you're doing it.
No, because I already knew it was going to happen.
Right. Absolutely. And then that's something that you're taking on as part of your life. You know, and that's okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm an alcoholic, right? And I'm a drug addict. So I know that I have I had when I was younger liver problems. I don't have any liver problems now and stuff, but that could come back, and if I drink, there's no proof that it will come back. I don't see it anywhere in my life. However, I know that it's true because I have tested it in the past.
Right. Okay.
So there's all sorts of things, right? This, knowing when to stop being contrarian, knowing when to stop, standing up for, you're here with doctors. They know something. You know yourself better, but they do know stuff. And it's probably a good idea to listen to them because they're the ones that know, trust that they know what they know.
Right.
And you need to also trust the fact that you know what you know. Mm-hmm. And if you're trying to say, no, I don't want to eat because I know better, and then when they say no, you double down and they double down and everybody doubles down until nobody's happy and nobody's healthy.
Right.
So know when to stop arguing. Right? Yeah. And maybe you can open their eyes to know when to stop arguing as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. That's a
There's
good
nothing.
point. Okay, yeah.
You know, in the first line, it said, when Tao is followed, shelter, food, and water are prioritized.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you came on, what you were talking about was like, I walk 6 to 10 miles a day. Well, that's proof you're doing well. That is
Right.
just as valid as the proof that they have for
That
their
I'm
tests.
not.
So why?
Yeah.
So why is yours more important
More
than theirs?
important than theirs. Yeah.
You know.
That's very fit. That's a good point. Oh, dang, Martin John. Oh man, you just put a lot of food for thought in my brain to be ironic.
You know, and then the next line is going counter to doubt, war, excess, and hoarding are praised. So war is conflict of any sort, right? And so that's what the staff are leaning on. You're leaning on conflict. And then excess could be like they want you to eat more. You're telling them that you're doing all of this stuff that proves that, you know, and that's all the excess. And so you guys are both doing the same thing. You know, both you and the staff are doing the same thing.
We're both just like going back and forth.
Yeah, you've planted your flag and you're like, that my autonomy. You find yourself in an institution in which you don't have autonomy. So you have to recognize that. They're getting paid to be there and can go home at night. Right?
Exactly.
You're paying to be there and you're not going anywhere.
No.
So,
not
you know,
yet.
so right. Yeah, absolutely. You know, like, and so like understanding like that this is part of your gift. They are part of your gift. You know, you are part of theirs as well, but they are not thinking about you when you go home. When they go home.
Exactly. That's very true. That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Martin John, it was a pleasure as always. I hope you have a good, what day is it? Sunday?
It's Sunday, yeah.
Sunday.
It's Sunday. Yeah.
I hope you have a good Sunday, and thank you for this reading. It was actually very, very much on point with what's going on.
It happens. It happens.
It's so crazy how it just happens. It just magically it just speaks to what's going on every time. So, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Enjoy your day, love.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Yeah. We're going to bring Laura up. It's always great to catch up with Max. Hey, Laura.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, you're in a nice quiet space today.
Well, yes, until the air fryer starts beeping in about 2 minutes and my dog is going to go berserk.
Oh, okay. Are you frying some bacon or something?
I got away as far away from that as I could so I can focus. So I can focus, as close as 100% as humanly possible now on what we are, this moment and this learning.
Well, however it lays itself out, I'm open. So that was nice talking to Max. How's things going on in your realm now? You guys are going to be on Christmas break soon. You're going to have a week and a half off, 2 weeks off. That should be nice.
Yes. So Friday we have early dismissal, 2 hours early dismissal. So it's four full days, Monday through Thursday, and a shorter day on Friday, and we're off for the Christmas break. Yay!
That's good. Do you recognize? I think in German it's called Rauhnachts, I think, or Rauhnachts. It's the Rough Nights. Do you? I mean, you're. Is it Romanian, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like your grandfather.
Yeah. Do you recognize the Rough Nights? Do you know what that is?
I don't. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. It's just it's old folklore. It's Eastern European folklore around from the solstice to the new year when there was no time, or Christmas Eve to like the 6th or whatever. It's like these 12 nights. And it's this time out of time, because like between the solar calendar and the lunar calendar, there's these 12 days that are missing, and that's these 12 days. And it's a time of, where the veil is thinned and there's a lot of witchy stuff going on. A lot of
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's called Rauhnacht. It's a German term meaning rough nights. But yeah. So I was just curious.
Yeah.
So what's going on? What's happening with you? Nope, there's the dog and the air fryer.
Yes, sir. So let's see. Well, it's a nice morning. I was able to go on the website for my nutrition certification with NASM as a nutrition coach and fitness coach, which I have started a few days ago. So, starting with small steps and following the instructions so that I can get the most out of these classes. And I enjoyed that quiet morning of reading and learning about these topics that are of big importance to me. And we're going to go to church in about an hour.
Oh, nice. Are you going to be a fitness coach then?
Well, right now I just want to help myself with the nutrition and the fitness information, and be my own nutrition coach and my own nutrition fitness coach. And then that's what I'm thinking right now. Once I lose more weight and become even more fit, I will be open to the idea to coach other people. But if somebody happens to ask me to coach them, once I got my certification, I'm open to say yes.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, it's always good to just be open. Just be open to whatever comes. We don't have to dictate what we're going to do all the time. We don't have to say, oh, this is what my plan is. We don't always have to have a plan. We can just like let it open up to us. Let it unfold.
Truly.
So let's pick a number and see if there's any advice in there for us to glean.
If it's okay with you, I'd like for you to read even twice, like you sometimes do, the same exact that Max just read, because I really want
46.
Because I have things that I have to stop myself from, And I appreciate Max and what you shared with him and what he shared with us, and it's so helpful. And I'm so glad that he's openly discussing those things, and it helps me to understand and learn and relate. And what I hear you telling him, I'm also taking from that for myself. So
yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, it's knowing when to stop. And so it says, when Tao is followed, shelter, food, and water are prioritized. Excuse me. Going counter to Tao, war, excess, and hoarding are praised. He who believes there isn't enough is cursed to never have enough. He who believes he must acquire will acquire nothing that lasts. There is no greater waster of time or energy than being discontent. Therefore, the master knows what is enough and is content to stop there. There's a number of Tao that talk about, like in the beginning stages of Tao, it talks about early numbers and stuff. They talk about this idea of even though you can identify with something, and if that identity acquires a name, or if that identity acquires or creates an institution behind it, you must know where their reach should end. Yes, you're a mother. Yes, you're a teacher. Yes, you're a scholar. Yes, you're a millionaire. Yes, you're this. Yes, you're that. But know where that identity should end. And you don't have to continue associating with that identity to such a degree that it closes you off to everything else that you are. So this last line, therefore, the master knows what is enough. Yes, I'm a mother, but there's a point where that's enough. I don't have to be a mother now, and I don't have to be a mother forever. I can just I can play the role for a while, but then I can go back to being me.
Yes.
So what else stood out to you on this?
Repeat the question, please. What else?
Did any other line or word stand out to you for this one?
Well, the beginning, it's interesting that how you were. I'm starting to see all these coincidences, which some people claim they're not coincidences. I
don't believe there are any coincidences. So yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Because I started to see so many coincidences since I started talking to you and others on here.
I could imagine.
And if I tell you some of them, you would think that's. I mean, the odds were like 1 in a billion, maybe.
Yeah,
So,
that's Tao. That's Tao at work.
if we have time, I'll tell you one that just happened recently. But it's interesting how Max was talking about food and like baby steps, and they just told him just eat. And then the reading that he picked, it talks about food and water and shelter. So that's quite the coincidence. Out of 81 numbers that he could have picked, he picked the one about food and water, which seems like it's the reason why he's in the place where he is right now.
Right. And we have to recognize when it mentions shelter, he's also in an institution, and that is his shelter, right? So there's a lot to that.
Yeah. And it was really incredible how you have this clarity of mind where you just told him, well, either you do it their way or do it your way, but if you want to do it your way, go somewhere else and accept the reality of, I mean, you use the word crazy, but I'm sure you all understand, do it your way, but are you going to leave or do it their way or whatever? But just when somebody tells me, well, there's only 2 choices or only 3 choices, that helps me clarify options in my mind so well. And I'm like, well, what do I want? Because I can't have both the freedom to be myself outside of the shelter, and my health, be sure that my health is good. So things like that, they just help me so much.
Yeah.
And so I like listening to you because you have this getting to the point way of, it's either this or that, but you have to weigh the options because it's not going to be a perfect option or a great option. It's kind of like all of them have advantages and disadvantages. Does this sound about right?
Well, when we are, and it has to be said that we are in the manifestation, right? We are, and so when you are in the manifestation, as you start to accept Tao, as you start to, live your life with this like freedom of self without identity and stuff. But if we have an identity, and Max definitely has an identity, as do you, as we all do, and I have an identity as well. But the more we stand for that identity, the more we embroil ourselves in manifestation. And if we are in manifestation, there are limits. There are limits to what we can see. There are limits to what we can believe can happen. There are limits to what we will experience because our mind is limited to what we would consider quote unquote reality, which is really just manifestation, right? And when you talk about the coincidences that you're having, that is you being kind of embroiled in manifestation. And you're like, oh my God, this would only happen 1 in a billion. Well, when you leave manifestation, if you have more faith outside of manifestation, if you have more belief in something that exists beyond manifestation, it's not 1 in a billion anymore. You know? And so all of a sudden, you start to open yourself up to more. Whereas the manifestation is limited. And so when you look at the manifestation for what it is and accept it as it is, then yes, it's limited. And within that limitation, Tao will present itself as coincidence, as all of these things, and you will be guided through it. And that is a way to step into the magic and the awe of being at one with everything. So yes, limited options in the manifestation yield unlimited opportunities in Tao.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good deal, really.
Sounds like a good deal. And the other thing that I got from the reading, it's so on one hand is that first part about bare necessities, if you wish, and how that's how I understand it with the language that I
Shelter,
can
food,
produce.
water, right? Yeah.
Yes, is from the whole text that you just read. I understand something like, don't be greedy for more stuff and hoard stuff, because stuff is just stuff and it's not meaningful. Whereas just be open to life experiences and follow your inspiration, and don't tie your identity to being rich or being famous or being someone with vanity, or because it's not about the money and the power and the stuff that we accumulate and about luxuries. Is about having an open mind, having a pure heart as much as we can, accepting ourselves, and just spread love and kindness. And if we wish to something like that. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, are you leaving? Okay. Yeah, so have a wonderful day, Laura. Love you, and I really appreciate you coming up and talking about that. Christine is going to join me. I don't think that I've spoken to Christina before. I may have, though. Christina, how are you?
I'm good. Walking through the woods here in Maine.
Oh, so wonderful.
Talk one time accidentally.
Yeah, no, I remember. As soon as I heard your voice, and then you said you were in Maine, I was like, no, we've talked. Is it?
I was the paddle boarder.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Is it like when is mud season in Maine?
Oh, that's all spring.
Is that spring? Okay.
Yeah.
I know people have talked to me about mud season. I couldn't. I imagined it was spring, but I couldn't. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah, it's freezing cold here right now. Thankfully, I'm not walking through the snow anymore. We had a big rain, so.
Yeah. So where in Maine are you?
I'm in central Maine. So off the coast.
So you're not near. Yeah, off the coast.
It's 45 minutes to Portland, so I'm close to my sisters that are there. But
oh, that's good.
Yeah,
and it's nice to be near the woods. Like, is there any fear of being of running into moose at this?
More of getting shot by a hunter.
Okay. So do you have to wear orange when you go on your hike?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Well, you stay safe out there. Do you Do you partake in venison?
I will if somebody else cooks it because I don't hunt.
Okay.
But if it's being served at somebody's house, sure.
Yeah, I keep, I'm in the Midwest, so we don't get the moose venison. We just get little deer and things. And it's such a treat. And like I know hunters, and so like anytime I can get venison, I'm always ready and willing. So
the bear meat is supposedly the best.
Yeah, I have not. I mean, I've had like bear jerky, but bear jerky and alligator jerky and all those jerky, they all taste the same. It's like I want to have like steaks, right? Like when I went to Chile, I had horse, and that was delicious. Just trying different things. I'm all down for the bear. Maybe I'll come visit you in Maine, and we'll have a bear dinner. We'll bear down with some bear essentials.
Yeah, I was just listening to you about the last reading you just did, and the shelter, food, water, and I'm like, that's where we need to go. My husband is in love with his Bronco and adding to it, and I'm like, the stuff.
The stuff. And that's the thing. He who believes there isn't enough is cursed to never have enough.
Yes.
And then as you just keep filling and filling and filling, and we call that a hungry ghost. It's just like you'll never get satiated.
Yeah.
Never.
No, you won't.
No.
We talk all the time about maybe we should move because we want to be somewhere else that has this or that. And I'm like, I feel so content where I am.
Yeah. And then it's almost like in the world today, contentment is like, don't be content, always want more. And it's like, I think we've run that race as far as we can.
I think so. I think
I think it's like I think we reached the end of that race like in the 80s, and then we were just like, but we're still in this race. It was just like, actually,
we're still supposed to do that.
Yeah, that's like there's nothing more. There's literally nothing more.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm talking to people today who just like a downsizing is what gave them the most peace.
Yeah. Every spring I clean house and donate as much as I can to whomever I can. And I always feel so much better then.
Yeah. My sister's an accumulator, but she's raised her kids to be like, okay, when you get new stuff, for everything that you receive, you give something to charity. And that's a beautiful start. It's not like they still have more than they need, but it's a good start. It's a good start to not hoard. Although I think one of her daughters will ultimately become a hoarder. But that's a whole nother story. That has other things to deal with. So
I've been raised by a hoarder, so So when I walk into their house, I'm like, okay,
yeah, deep breath, but not too deep.
I'm going to have to take care of this because you're not going to be here forever.
That's right. You're just going to go and then leave this to me.
Yeah. So those are the thoughts now. It's like,
I understand that. So, you want to pick a number?
Yes. Could I pick number 8?
Number 8. Yeah, absolutely. 8 is be like water.
All right.
And it reads, water is humble, always traveling to the lowest place, nourishing without taxing everything along the way. In so doing, it is like Tao. The master aims to resemble water. In thinking, she is simple. In conflict, she is yielding. In governing, she doesn't need to control. In work, she does the obvious thing. In family life, she is continually present. When one can be content with being and not require comparison or praise, it is said they invest in their life by making of it a donation.
Huh.
So what's going on with you these days?
Some of those things really speak to, well, there's been a conflict with my son.
Okay.
So,
how old is your son?
He was, so the flowing and letting it yield and letting it go kind of stuff. that speaks to me.
Yeah. So what's going on? With being as whatever that you can be. How old is your son?
He's 19.
19. Okay, so he's an adult.
Yeah, he's an adult and definitely was doing the pushing away thing and had his first girlfriend. So,
Whoa.
And unfortunately, his first girlfriend was the getting to know her part did not go well. So, she was very, very quiet to start. And I was like, okay, she's shy. I can remember that. I was shy. But then it turned into him having conversations with me about all of her opinions about me. And I'm like, wow, maybe she wasn't as shy as I thought. She was just listening. I don't know. It turned into some pretty hateful actions on their part. So, yeah, we're pretty much like, don't talk to each other anymore. And now he's in the hospital with a mental breakdown. So.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So what really kind of speaks to me, and my heart is going out to you, because this isn't easy.
No.
And becoming an adult is difficult. And, I remember a time where my mom was, my brother was my mom's first son to get married. And he was, his only son to get married, I guess, so far. And he's 10 years younger than me. I was speaking to my mom at the wedding, and she was upset, and she was physically just looking like a little worse for the wear kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, what's going on? She was like, they say you don't ever gain a daughter, you lose a son.
That's definitely something I've heard from people.
And I never heard that until she said it. And it's interesting, like being humble, as it's speaking of here. Always traveling to the lowest place, and you were cool when she came over. I think, it sounds like
I tried to.
You're cool. You tried to be. You weren't judging her because you were able to. One, you're older, right. And you aren't going to judge so harshly. You might judge a little bit, and there might be a little bit of judgment, for what but she's not giving any information. And because she's not giving any information, there isn't anything you can build anything off of. Now, you could judge her silence.
Yes.
But I'm hoping that's not something that you did. You just she's shy. Maybe at first there was just burp, burp, burp. But then it's like, oh, well, she's just shy, and she's probably been on the internet for her whole life, so she didn't know what's going on.
Exactly.
Fucking kids. But what we have here, is this this line, nourishing without taxing everything along the way. And I think that's a really important line here, because, your son is also going through a lot right now.
Right.
Right. Your son is going through a lot because relationships are different than they were when you were a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like he really wanted this to be figured out. I sat down with her and tried to figure it out. But I was listening to you the other day about well, if it's that easy, just change your mind. Of course it's not that easy.
Right.
I was like, you're right.
Yeah.
It's just not that easy. So.
Absolutely. And and there is a lot in here, in this verse, right? One, again, nourishing, that's an important thing. Nourishing without taxing. That means you can support without having to take anything, without having to have them change their mind, without having to have her alter herself. But you can still nourish the relationship and nourish her in some way by being like water. And what does it say about where does water travel? To the lowest place. But you are the matriarch in the house.
Right.
It's not easy to take a back seat to some bitch coming in fucking trying to tell you some shit.
Well, believe me, like he had a surgery and she's telling me about his meds and what he should. I'm like,
Right? Yeah.
So there's some things there. Some things I can't say out loud in a public setting.
Right. I absolutely understand, and I can say them. but there's this whole like thing of, you know, like, one, what is your relationship to this experience of someone coming in and trying to take from you?
Yeah.
Right. Is this an experience that you've had before?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. Take from me.
And I don't know if that's how you would describe
my
that.
Toy when I was a kid. I don't know.
What's that?
I said somebody taking a toy when I was a kid. I probably don't even remember that.
Well. What is your relationship with your siblings? Do you have siblings? You have sisters.
I have 2 sisters, and they're great.
They're great. Oh, wonderful.
But, I mean, very supportive through this whole.
Oh, I don't care about this whole thing. When you were living together as children.
When we were living together, yeah, I mean, they didn't let me share their clothes, but that was, I mean, that's.
No. Well, typical. So I don't know how you're taking this whole experience. I don't know if you feel like she's coming in to take your role, if she's coming in and she's a threat to your son, if she's coming. What is your experience of this specifically?
My concerns with the experiences, watching his friends no longer want to be around. Her dismissing them as, well, they're racist, I'm sexist, this person's this person's that, and basically eliminating a lot of people out of his life. Mm-hmm. When we knew he was struggling, he has OCD, but it seems like it's turned into something else, of psychosis or a breakdown or something else. And now here we sit with a 19-year-old running his healthcare. It's like,
and so
she's feels like it's kind of been created from this relationship. So that's the hard part is.
Yeah. Like he's blind to the fact that this woman is running her own personal cult. And he is, and he's under the influence of that. And, you know, she is, this woman is his,
everything now.
It's his opioid.
Yeah.
You know, like, so some 19-year-olds, like myself, had drug problems. He's got this problem.
We were mentioning that because our older son for a while was smoking a lot of pot. And we're like, oh gosh, like, you don't need to kill brain cells.
And they're both.
Don't do it. Typical thing. I mean, my husband did it, so it's like.
And you're going to drop off in a moment. You can come back up, please, if you want. So that's a big deal, right? Like. Your older son used drugs, and now your younger son is utilizing this woman, and it's really interesting because you think about rebelling, and you think about escaping, and you think about growing up, and my guess is your son still lives at home.
No. Neither one. My oldest is 25. He lives with his girlfriend.
Well, I was thinking about this one, the 19-year-old.
No, he left in August and basically hasn't been back. Lives with his girlfriend and at her house.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's and that's and that's her house, meaning her parents' house.
Her parents' house. Yeah.
Okay. See, that's always weird. See, so this is that's a cult. That's a little personal cult. He's in a cult, and there's nothing you can do. So then, there is nothing you can do because this is what my brother did. He lived with his girlfriend within her parents' house, and I was like, "Well, you're basically agreeing to marry this daughter."
Yeah.
You're basically agreeing to that. And
they might be married already.
What's that?
My son might be married already. They were going to do that to avoid taxes for college. or like
see that's the thing. Like and it's funny, like in when my brother, because my brother did this, and when my brother got married, he had this website, they got one of those like marriage website things, and they in the website they tell their story of how they met each other and stuff, and hers was literally like a stalker story. It was like, I looked at the website of our college at the Who's Hot website or whatever, and it was him, and I got him, and then I found out his schedule, and then I would go and I would be in his class, and then I would and it was like this literal stalker sort of thing, and it was funny. I was breaking up with a girl that I was with for 9 years when they got married, and then my brother calls me up like months later and was just like, well, you weren't ever happy with me getting married to this woman, whatever. And I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, well, at our wedding, you were all like pissy. I was like, do you remember what happened a month after you guys got married? Like, Sarah and I broke up. Like, can you wrap your mind around me being in a 9-year relationship and that ending while I was at your wedding? Like, can you think about anything other than yourself for a second?
Yeah.
And it's like they're so blind to the cultish sort of thing. And you're sitting here, and just like my brother, more or less, like this is sort of his first girlfriend. Yeah. And there's this deep manipulation and living under the influence and all of this that my brother drinks. I don't know. I had a conversation with him about drinking. But this is the same thing. This is addiction. Yeah. And cult and sort of thing. And she isn't the problem. He has problems, and she is the solution to his problems in his mind, but she is exacerbating, just like crack, right? Oh, this it helps me escape my stuff, but it also gives me increasing problems. You trying to get in the way of that, and I know that you're not.
No, I've backed way off because the attacks just kept coming.
They're relentless.
They're very specific towards me. Yeah, which has always been very hard because I'm like, there's not too many people that I don't get along with. I'm pretty open and cheerful. And I'm a teacher. I have a lot of personalities I have to work with every day. Right. Yeah. So, but this one is one of those that I just had to walk away from which is painful, but.
And I think that's all going to yield good results in time. Yeah. And it says here, like, in family life, she is continually present. Like, you can't be there. Right. But you can be present.
Yeah. Now, my husband and I keep going back and forth. Should we go to the hospital? Should we not?
Well, it's, don't shit on yourself. Just go when it's right, and you'll know when it's right. If it, like and you can send messages, you can send flowers, you can do all these things to not have to be there. But you don't want to be like, we're not coming because, you know what I mean? It's like, we're not coming because we don't want to see your fiance, or we don't want to see your girlfriend. We're and you can't sit there and be like, we don't want to see his girlfriend, so we're not going. Do you want to see him? Because if you do, go. And if she's there, maybe you only go for 5 minutes. Maybe you only go for 2. You just show up, give him a kiss on the forehead, say, I love you. We're here. If you need anything, you can give us a call. Thank you guys thank her for taking such good care of him, or whatever, And
those are things that I'm just like,
or not. Just be like, okay, we're just gonna say this, and then we're gonna get going. We brought your favorite meatloaf, whatever. Do the thing that you got to do because it's within you, and don't allow fear of her to stop you from being you, because then you're under her influence.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely have been.
Yeah, and don't let that happen. Because she's got too much power as it is.
Right.
That bitch needs to be put in her place. What's up? You don't need him under you. You don't need your son under your influence, but you don't need to be under hers. So it's not a question of should we go. Of course you should go because he's your son. You love him and you want to go. But if you're because you're afraid, face that fear.
Yeah.
And remain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take care of some bitch, Jennifer. You're wearing orange. You're wearing an orange suit while you're taking a hike, so you don't get shot. I think you'll be fine in the hospital with this woman.
This should be true. You're right.
You're not. You woke up this morning to face moose and hunters. I think you.
Very true. Very true.
I don't think that you're going to have much of a problem going in and handing hot plate to your son or whatever.
Yeah. It was hard because he was in the emergency room apparently 3 times before we found out. And her family never got in touch with us, and of course the bubbling anger of how could you not get in touch with us with all this going on?
This is you don't know how they could not. Yeah. And that's okay. You won't understand that.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are I'm dealing with the anger of the whole situation at the point.
And this is where it's nourishing without taxing, right? Yeah. That you can't tax them for their decisions.
Yeah.
They're making decisions and you don't agree with them, but you found out. And now that you found out,
what do I do with that?
Right. What do you do with that? Right. So, and your anger of them not telling you, that's something you have to look at for yourself. What is your relationship to not being informed? As a teacher, that's probably a big deal.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have a student come in that's having a horrible day and have no idea why. Right. But something happened at home or something happened at recess or whatever.
And just in the fact that you are a teacher means that you probably have a relationship with making sure people have access to information. You probably have a core belief. And you are probably, to some degree under the influence that information should be accessible.
Yes, absolutely.
And that, when you have information being kept from you, that means that you have some triggering around that may behoove you to put some attention on. And that's not about him. That's about you. That's about your shit.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And she is his girlfriend is filling his mind maybe with bad information and maybe disinformation and maybe, information that she doesn't have because she's young and they're not asking you. And that could be I've built my life around knowing this shit. Why are you not asking me?
Yes, I got a call last night with all the questions about his health history and our mental health history of our family. And I'm supposed to just give that information to you.
Right. It's just
of course I did anyway, because I know that it'll benefit him, but it didn't sit well.
Well, right. And due to it not sitting well, that is energy that continues to fuel the fire in her to, be a bitch, more or less.
Yeah.
It's she gave it to me, but she didn't want to. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everyone can find you can be aggrieved by anything, right? And so it's so insidious. But definitely
luckily
go see your
she
son.
doesn't speak to me. She goes to my husband, so I don't think she even got the vibe that I did not want to share.
Oh, well, good. Well, good.
Hopefully not.
And
He's my buffer right now.
Yeah. It's good to have a buffer.
Yes.
It's good to have a buffer. Because, you're a beautiful woman and you have a wonderful energy. But are you a Scorpio by any chance?
No, I'm a Leo, which is...
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Leo. Oh man, you put the hammer down.
I should be putting the hammer down. I know, but I'm the youngest of three girls, so I'm kind of the one that obeys the big sisters, and I'm usually pretty obedient in that way. You know.
All right. Well, I really like. I'll send you the text to this.
Excellent.
You know, and definitely go see your boy.
Yes.
You know, because once he gets back in the house, you won't be able to.
Right. That's true. This is a chance to get to see him.
Yeah. Take what you got, and again, always travel to the lowest place. That's humility. Just be like, she is more important in his life than you are right now.
Yep.
So you take the role you have.
Yep. Yes. That's very hard.
I know, especially for a Leo.
Yes, I was going to say.
Leos aren't typically the ones that are going, oh, no, you take the front seat.
You take the front seat. It'll be fine. Yeah. I'm the one that runs drama club and wants to be center stage now.
This is how you do it.
Yeah. Let me teach you. Well, I'm glad I finally got the courage to talk. I've been listening to you for a while, and many things that you have said have resonated. So,
no, well, I'm glad. Well, good luck with your decisions for today. It's early. You can go see him today.
It is early. It's just 8:00 here.
Yeah. So, and you haven't been shot yet. So
I haven't. Day is off to in flying colors here.
Winds all around.
Yes.
All right, Christine.
All right. Have a lovely day.
You. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. I'm going to bring up Julie. That was beautiful talking with Christina. Thank you so much.
I agree. It was beautiful. I enjoyed that very much. Thank you.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And just sharing for a bit, and it's just pleasant, isn't it? Isn't it nice to know that there are other humans in the world, and they were all trying to kind of figure this great big thing out sometimes, So that very much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Today I've done two of my favourite things. And it's not to say everything else is crap, but today today I went out into the garden and I walked the two cats. One of them is very shy, and the other one is Big Brother. He likes to look after the little cat, but also likes to tease and chase the little cat. But anyway, we went out into the garden. I took my little seats. The sun came out to join us. I just sat there playing with them and taking photographs of the plants and the sky. It was just bloody awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
What a great thing to do. And do you know what? I didn't know I was going to do that this morning.
That's the best. That's why, when I talk to people about like that, and you probably heard this, like how many of you have chose to drink coffee today, And then everyone raises their hand, and it's just like, okay, well, how many of you have actually made the choice to drink coffee today versus just executing a decision that you made a long time ago? And it's like going out to the garden. That's just what I'm going to do today. I made this choice. Now I'm going to go out and do that. And that's this moment.
It was lovely. It's really, really nice.
It's so nice. Even for me, like I wake up and I journal in the morning. But it's really nice sometimes. And like today was one of the days I didn't journal. I just sat in the dark and I just sat up in bed and just sat there for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so.
Oh, what a lovely feeling that is, though.
And it was it's stillness.
Yeah, it's experiencing stillness. So you're still doing, but you're not. It's absolutely a wonderful paradigm, that is.
Yeah, it's so good. And that's, that's when when we're really in flow of everything and we just allow ourselves to be here, be present, have the feelings that we're having, have the thoughts we're having, and just let them go. We don't have to hold on to them. We don't have to identify with them at all. We can just do it. Just be here.
Exactly. I mean, yesterday was a very different day. It was cold, it was grey. That didn't matter to me because cold and grey is fine as well.
Yeah.
But the way that I was feeling inside was different yesterday. That's interesting because it allowed me to really kind of feel the difference in today.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. Mind you, yesterday Nottingham Forest won.
No,
so that was great.
Yes, they did. It was a hell of a last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was action packed, wasn't it?
Yeah, man,
They could have just played that 10 minutes for me.
And I was grateful to be getting paid to watch it, which was great.
Oh, it's just fantastic, isn't it, when that happens? Oh, absolutely brilliant. Kind of really, if you like, I am also being paid to watch it.
Oh, yeah. See, look at that.
This TV isn't mine. This house isn't mine.
Right.
So I'm being paid in comfort and security. Very different kind of payment, but all the same, much appreciated.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So I'm going to pick a number, I think.
Oh, please do.
When I'm feeling all mellow and wonderful.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go for number 41 today.
41.
Yeah, it's just popped in.
Yeah, laughing at Tao is perfectly reasonable.
There you are.
There it is. Those who live with sincerity, when they hear of Tao, immediately begin to embody it. Those who live casually may trust it at times, but aren't quite sure what to do with it. Those who embrace the manifestation completely laugh and scoff at the very idea. If they didn't laugh and scoff, it wouldn't be Tao. Therefore, you may have noticed progress doesn't always seem to advance. Beauty oftentimes comes off as obscene. The powerful can tend to seem weak. True love can appear tough or indifferent. Wisdom can be mistaken as childish. Great art can appear unsophisticated. Tao is hidden in all of these, imparting what is needed, completing everything.
I love that. A few things came to my mind. The art. Picasso. I was talking about Picasso 2 days ago. And for me, that's just ugly. Sorry, just my opinion. But that's Tao, isn't it? Some people might find Picasso's works wonderful. But me, I think, good God, my 6-year-old granddaughter could paint better than that. Do you know what I mean? So there you go. It's a prime example of that. And beauty can be obscene. So, you know, sometimes when I see things that are labeled beautiful or beautiful, for me, it's like, that is obscene. Look at the money that woman, Kim Kardashian, spent on her body to be beautiful. That's obscene.
Right. Yeah.
See? So there you go. There's me kind of trying to show this.
And the Kardashians Kardashians might look at you and your life and call it obscene, and yet it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely. So it's interesting stuff. And you know, there's
something in this verse that really speaks to me about like long game. You know, and this is a hard thing to articulate. I've always had trouble to articulate it in a way that I'm happy with. Okay. And that's in these last words. Tao is hidden in all of these, imparting what is needed, completing everything. So, when you think Picasso is ugly, when you have a feeling like, oh, someone's wisdom is childish. Like if someone listens to me for the first time and says, oh, that's just pie in the sky thinking and that's childish and whatever. I mean, this is all about laughing it down. This is so somebody who hears my words laugh at it and say, there's no proof that that's true. There's no proof . Well, if that triggers me, I've been imparted with what I needed. That doesn't say, that's not saying that it's right. There is no right, but it has imparted with me something that I needed, a trigger. If I can take that trigger, if I'm inspired to take that trigger and dive into it, just like we were doing with Christina and Laura and Max today, all of these things, if we dive into it, start looking at ourselves, then we grow. What happens? We grow into who we are. And the last two words of the phrase, completing everything. So it's completing me. This experience that I'm having isn't the right experience. It's the experience that's going to inspire me to move to a space that I am going to be more complete. And this is long game. This is the idea that everything that happens to me gives me a platform to continue to grow and do more for myself and do more with myself. And it's interesting how we get to this place from those who live with sincerity. When they hear of Tao, immediately begin to embody it. So you immediately begin to understand, like, okay, this thing that's happening to me is imparting what is needed. We go back to the movie The Matrix and that incident of, like, the oracle told you what you needed to hear, didn't tell you what you wanted to hear or what the truth was. It imparted on you what you needed to hear, not truth. This experience that you're having isn't truth. This physical manifestation is not truth. It is what you need to hear. It's what you need to, you are being imparted what is needed. You are getting given what is needed.
Something. It's revealing something for you to work with every time.
And then when that happens, you will respond to it in some way.
Which is also Tao.
Which is also Tao. You are inspired to respond to it in some way, and that is going to send you to something else. Now, that is slowly driving you towards completion, essentially death. That is slowly moving you towards your own death. But you have work to do here. And that is in part, you're being imparted what is needed. You're going to respond to that. Maybe you're going to turn into a fascist, and that is going to open you up to something else. And who knows what path you are going to have to take to get to where you're going. But it is taking you there.
Yeah. It's like saying, to a certain extent, what will be, will be. That is totally true.
That's it, right. Yeah. Now, that is, again, like things like that, yes. It's kind of like that old saying, like, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Yes, that is a profound statement. And if you can wrap your mind around what that is actually saying, you could spend a lifetime deconstructing it.
Yeah.
But most people just like, what you have to fear is fear itself. Bah, 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 bah. And then they just like, for people that hear of Tao, those who embrace the manifestation completely laugh and scoff at the very idea. And that's the same thing when you dismiss what is here for just, it's just simple words. I get it. Yeah, I get it. Food, shelter, and water. That's going to be prioritized, and that's good. And I'm going to go back to my internet now. It's like,
I'm going to go back to accumulating food, shelter, and water, to the best possible degree.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and then it says, look, if they didn't laugh and scoff, it wouldn't be Tao. Like, and that's the thing. It's like they are laughing and scoffing because that is the experience that they're needing to be imparted with. And when they laugh and scoff, that's going to give them thoughts. Those thoughts are going to turn into inspirations. Those inspirations are going to turn into actions. That's going to lead to new experiences in which they're imparted. And then it's going to be a cycle until they get to wherever they're going to go when they die.
Yeah.
And that's it.
It's pretty profound. It's not just that's it. It's like, wow.
Right.
Wow.
And that's the thing. Like, expressing this is so difficult because it's like, yes, that is what that experience that you had is supposed to have happened for you. If you hear like, my child lost their pregnancy. It's like, okay, well, experience did that give you versus what experience did that give them? You're being imparted what is needed for you. So what is this for you? You know, and not, oh, I better bring over a casserole so I can, you know, show my appreciation or my condolences for it. It's like, okay, you can do that, but what is inspiring you to do that? Where is that coming from? And that's the experience that you're having, whether you think that you're a victim, because that's an experience, or if you think it just takes so much for me to try and, but that's what these last words had always spoken to me, right? It's hidden in everything, imparting what is needing, completing everything. And it's just ticking away over time.
Yeah. You know? I'm just glad that I have the opportunity to have a life form. Yeah. This is the biggest gift I've ever been given, you know, so far that I know of. Right. To be able to experience and be able to, and that's all experiences. I mean, you know, I've had some good ones and I've had some pretty dire ones as well, but it's made me.
That's right.
It's the path that I've needed. It's imparted what it needed. I have worked with what I've received. And kind of the work that working with what I've received is just allowing this to be. Yeah. You know, I'm just looking at, actually, I'm looking out the window right now and the sun's shining on a silver birch. Ah. So the light is really reflecting off of the one side of the branches, and it's so crystal clear. Yeah. That is awesome. And it's in this bloody huge garden that I sat in earlier and, you know, thinking about that verse. I sat under it's like a trio of bushes, little shrubs. And inside is like a little space. So I could put my little mat to stop my bum getting wet. I put it down on the floor and I just sat there. And this is what I said. I am experiencing being able to sit in this place and belong. How awesome is that? Yeah. Because I travel so much and I have no home.
Nope, you just dropped off. Yeah, let's finish that up. So you were saying, because you travel so much and have no home.
Having that place to be is unusual. If for anyone looking at how I live my life, that is the element that I have to create within wherever I am. So I sat in these bushes, in this garden, thinking to myself, how lucky am I to be able to be here in this moment, feeling so much that I belong. It's awesome. And then never sit in that spot ever again. But that moment was mine. That moment was an experience. It was Tao. So yeah, soaked it in and seen what it is for me and received it. And you know, actually I was like, wow, because there are no words. Or as we might say, Martin John, far out.
Far out.
Yeah. Thanks for having me up, and thank you for watching the football with me yesterday, and also I'm glad you got paid to do so. Take care.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Oh, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Christina, good luck with everything that's going on. Julie, Laura, Max, thank you guys for summing up and chatting with me. And Max, also good luck with everything that's going on. We're moving into the dark nights. We're moving into, the end of we're coming up on the time when, the end of the year comes and everything just kind of changes somehow. So I hope you guys have good meals and good warm beverages and support and love, and you can find ways of being yielding even to the people that you don't think, you want to yield to. Surrender to who they are. Don't submit to their actions or their requests. You guys are doing great. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Martin John, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.